All right, guys. So I promise this is the last time I'm going to talk about this subject because this is, I think, the end of this whole Netflix drama thing. But the climax happened today when, the walkout occurred. Okay. And obviously there was confrontation as a counter protest group that had signs that said "We like jokes" in support of Dave Chappelle actually showed up to the protest as well. And I want you guys to watch this news clip, and also I'm gonna post some raw clips afterward as well, so that you guys get a good understanding of overall kind of what happened, how it went. And then I'm gonna talk about some few things that were said that I really want to address. And I promise you, I'll be done with this subject. So without further ado, roll the clip.
Some Netflix employees walked out of the Hollywood headquarters today to protest the company's treatment of transgender workers.
It was prompted in part by a controversial new comedy special on the streaming service. And our Rob Hayes is live now with more on that. Rob?
Yeah, earlier today, the sidewalk in front of this Netflix office in Hollywood was packed with demonstrators. They're angry about that comedy special that aired on the network, and they're asking Netflix to improve its relations with the transgender community.
It's not unusual for Dave Chappelle to attract large crowds, but this crowd is not full of fans. They're here to protest Chappelle's latest Netflix comedy special, The Closer, that pokes fun at transgender people.
We can take a joke, but when the jokes start taking lives, it's no longer a laughing matter.
Ashley Marie Preston is a trans woman who has done corporate training for Netflix in the past. She helped organize this protest outside the Netflix complex in Hollywood and to send the message that transgendered employees at the media giant are hurt and frustrated, not just by Chappelle's jokes, but by a lack of equity at the company.
We're here to speak directly to Netflix. We tried to speak to Dave Chappelle. He was not having the conversation. So now we're here to communicate directly with the people who signed the checks.
But not everyone who showed up was in support of the transgender movement. Some showed up to support Dave Chappelle.
It's funny. And we're just here. I don't know who these people are, but we're just here to tell Netflix we love Dave. We love jokes. And we're here to show support for that.
Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos recently said he mishandled his defense of the Chappelle show in an internal email to employees and said that Netflix doesn't allow content designed to incite hate or violence. Also, Netflix employees who walked out to take part in the protest say the company is fine with it.
We're supported in doing this. That's pretty awesome. I think when our bosses and our bosses' bosses want to hear us, I think that's amazing. There's not a lot of studios that want to do that.
Now, protesters are asking Netflix to hire more trans executives and to spend more money on transgender and non-binary creators and projects.
Today, on this full moon in Aries, it is time to make a change. It's time to release the old and break in new. What needs to happen if the CEO at Netflix wants to make it right with trans people? Give your trans employees a raise right now. Give them a raise right now for their hard work, for their hard labor, and for putting their trauma out for the world to see. I'm standing in solidarity with the trans employees at Netflix who are calling out this company, because you see what Satire actually does. What Satire is actually supposed to do is call in power structures. Challenge those who have been oppressing folks. If your satire is not doing that, if your satire is punching down, you are being a bully. And that's on period. It's not funny. So I'm standing in solidarity with the trans folks here at Netflix who are saying we ain't having it. Not on our watch.
All right, so that's just a few things I want to say, okay? Because I think this saga hopefully is coming to an end. But first and foremost, it is amazing how nobody protested and walked out over cuties, right? Nobody walked out over that. But people walking out over Dave Chappelle making jokes, but not cuties, right? It just kind of shows you where some people's priorities are. There was a lady in that first clip that basically said that, Dave Chappelle's jokes are costing people their lives. And it's just like, that's just not true, right? Like, jokes are jokes, okay? Like, the thing that kind of gets me about this is that you know, it's perfect that there was a We Like Jokes counter protesters there, because that's actually how most people feel, right? They're like, yo, we want to live in a world where people can make jokes without people saying stuff like that, right? Without people saying it's costing people's lives, because it's actually not. And I'm not trying to downplay, you know, the terrible things that, you know, do happen to people in the trans community. I'm not trying to downplay it, but I'm simply saying that those are two different things, right? Jokes in the comedic arena are different than real world violence, which I don't condone, right? I'm all for people not being discriminated against, okay, and having equality, but that's not what these people are asking for. They're asking for equity. That's not the same as equality. It's just not, right? And you can see it when that one person asks for more pay, right? Oh, we want to get paid more, right? We should get paid more because of, you know, our gender identity or whatever, right? And it's like, well, here's the thing. That's not how meritocracy works. You don't just get paid more because of your identity, okay? That's not how things work. And also on top of that, how can you get paid more when you're trying to get rid of the cash cow, Dave Chappelle, who is basically responsible for helping y'all get paid? Again, that's what blows my mind. You want more money, you want more investment, you want all these resources to push and promote the transgender community, but you don't want to allow Dave Chappelle to do what he does best, make jokes, even though those jokes are benefiting you financially, right? Those jokes enable you to feed your family, right? To have a job, to have a good life. You're living in Hollywood. These people are getting paid six figures. We're talking about software engineers, very talented people getting paid. But yet you would give that all up just because you want to cancel a man because he made some jokes? Really? And then you got the nerve to turn around and ask for a raise. Again, this stuff is so silly to me. It's so silly. And then, you know, you got the person at the end, and I think this is really telling, that talks about how, well, anytime you do satire, it's not funny if you're punching down, right? You can't do it if you're punching down. That's what this person's saying. So in other words, the translation for that is, well, it's only funny. You only can make jokes about the white man, right? That's what they're saying. That's what this person is saying. You only can make jokes about the white man. And when you say stuff like that, these people just don't understand, like, how that affects people psychologically. Because I've talked about this before, and I'll keep talking about it. When it comes to this whole conversation about power, right, these people want to keep having, these people give so much more power to white people than white people actually have. They do. They are the main reason why white people are perceived to have so much power, because they simply just give it to them, right? You can only make jokes about the white man because he's above everybody else. The white man is above everybody, so therefore he's the only person you can make jokes about, right? That's what he's saying, and I'm like, why on God's green earth do people think like this? Why is it that you think that somebody is superior to you, and then you want to create rules where you solidify and bring to reality this superiority, right? And then you want to turn around and complain about it. Again, for the life of me, I truly don't understand. I really don't. Dave Chappelle has went off on everybody, man. I do believe that, you know, Dave Chappelle had a transgender friend who unfortunately lost her life, that I think the family said supports him, okay? And there's, I think, other transgender individuals that have come out and say, hey, no, we like jokes, right? We like jokes. Which is essentially what the counter protesters were saying as well. We like jokes. And I think that that's what most of society is. However, because we live in this society now where a lot of people want equity, it doesn't matter what most of society wants, right? Don't matter. So, look, hopefully this saga comes to an end. It seems to me, based off what some of these employees were saying at the end, Netflix is in support of their protest, and if Netflix is going to tolerate this stuff, it don't really matter to me, bro. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you know, it mattered in the sense that I think that what Netflix move is, if they cancel Dave Chappelle or they start to label what he says hate speech, start throwing disclaimers up there, I think that opens up Pandora's box for other platforms to do it. That's why I'm so invested in this. But outside of that, I mean, you reap what you sow, right? You signed up for this. This is what you got to deal with. This is just what you got to deal with. And in my opinion, I really don't think it's going to equal more profit. I really don't think it's worth it. I really don't. But hey, I'm not running the show. They running the show. They built a multi-billion-dollar company. I haven't. So they know way more than I do. I'm just saying, I'm not sure how this is going to work in the long run. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.